Hello, everybody. Welcome again. I'm so glad that you've joined us today. Today we have a great lunch and learn for you. I hope you enjoy the conference. This is our 5th annual virtual technology conference, and today we have the Merrills. They will be sharing the secret sauce. It's called Taste Test, the secret sauce behind our favorite EdTech tools. So we welcome again Kristen and Joe Merrill.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Hopefully you guys had a chance to get a little bit of a break, maybe get some lunch, kind of re-energize
That's
yourself.
what they're doing right now.
Well,
We already did that,
but
but
if
that's
they're
what they're
here,
getting ready to
if
do.
they're here right
They
now,
gotta
maybe
eat,
they've already got it,
watch,
Hopefully they've already got that and they're ready to go. So yes, so we thought we would take this time because this is a really unique opportunity to be able to kind of come in while you guys are just relaxing. But we thought it'd be really fun to kind of go through our different tools that we like to use, and then we would go and we would show you maybe like how to do certain things within the platforms. If you had questions about maybe some of the things that we shared in our sessions and you want to know more, you can let us know. I think I can see the chat here.
I know I'm trying to get like pull up the chat because we're so used to
Maybe I can't.
kind of reading chats and like reading questions and going off of those. So we just wanted to make this time the best we could, things that you wanted to see. But in my eyes, I thought, okay, well, if I have half an hour to like share something, I'd love to share like some of the things maybe people don't know they can do in the platforms that they are already pretty aware of. The things that we look at and we're like, did you know that was there? To maybe just be able to take something else away that's not a project or something like that.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it looks like I can't see the chat, so I do apologize. Let me just check one more thing. Nope, can't see it there. Okay, so we'll have to kind of go off of it, but let's go through just a couple of our favorites, and we're going to show you how we use them, how you can get started with them, and we've even got some really cool like prizes that we are going to give away to you. We've got 2 premium license features that you guys are going to be able to use to get you started for the year. So more on that soon. Let's go ahead and let's look at the different kind of apps we're going to try to cover in this time. So we may or may not get through all of these depending on how in depth we go.
For 6 minutes on each one. There is no way you go through all these.
Probably not, right? Probably not. But these are some of the newer apps that we've been talking about lately, and kind of going back to what we said before, where these fit that niche of like having all of those different types of things that we look for in an app: accessibility features, being able to record, upload, export, all those things.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily all do the same thing, but they do what they do well. And so we don't necessarily use one app for everything, but I'm looking at what you picked. I probably would put Canva instead of Wayground, and I would say those would be my top 5. But I know why you put Wayground on there because there's some really cool stuff to share. So these are some of the ones that we use frequently. And if you're more familiar with EdTech, you'll see that like Padlet and School AI aren't quite as new. Wayground used to be quizzes, so it's not new, but it is new because now it's changed and it can do more things. And then Snorbl and Brisk are more on the new side. They're more the ones that people are looking to see what they do, and they do very specifically different things. And so we wanted to share those.
I think the reason why I didn't put Canva and Adobe, because I feel like people are probably the most familiar with all of those.
Well, and because we're talking about like secret sauce, like
yeah,
there's not as many new cool things about them, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
so let's show you guys Padlet first, because there's a lot of new features that was just released in Padlet that maybe you missed over the summer, and we want to make sure you caught up to date. So when you go into Padlet, first of all, let's back up a second. If you aren't using Padlet, it is a free and a paid version. The free version, I think, gives you 3 wall boards, right?
I was going to go with 5.
I can't recall.
But people ask us all the time, what are apps you pay for? And like Padlet is one that we pay for because I want unlimited ability to archive and hold all of my things. But you can use it for free. You just have to use it and then archive it out. You can only have so many live running boards.
Correct. Yeah. And so the reason why we like it, though, is because it plays well with other platforms too. And so you can be using things like Canva or Adobe Express. You can download those files and then upload them into Padlet, which then allows you to then share them with families at home or maybe create a classroom conversation.
And if you're familiar with Wakelet, Wakelet does do a lot of the same things. I think Padlet has a few more unique individual features to it. I saw that Wakelet is bringing in some of the things like color coding text boxes and things that Padlet does have. But if you're a Wakelet user, like it's similar.
Yeah. So let's just show you some of the newer things that are in Padlet that maybe you would find interesting. I personally really like this map one.
You're gonna like jump so fast. Like for anyone who's never used Left side is kind of like the different kinds of categories because they do create templates for you, which you can scroll through and there's all different templates. The top board is more like your running space of like the plus sign always means make new, or I can go to their gallery and look at things that have been made. And then when you get into a Padlet, you have a whole nother right sidebar of features of like how to actually edit it. But he's going to jump you to like the coolest feature in there. Like he's just going to go straight there. So just make sure you know how to navigate your way around.
One of the coolest.
This one's pretty cool.
So
pretty cool.
I like this one. So when you click on this map, what it does is it allows you to create a Padlet wall. Hopefully it loads there. Let's see. If not, I've got the example pulled up. And what it does is it allows you to create map pinpoints on the map. Let me just open up
the example or say create.
Let me open up the one I've got. So here's one I've got already ready. So here is a map of the United States. And in this particular lesson, they were learning about Martin Luther King Jr. And so the kids, what they do is they come over to this plus sign right here. And when they have a fact that they want to add, let's just say that they know something about in Atlanta, right? They can type in the place. So if there's a specific place in that area, they can type in that specific place. And what it does is then it drops this pinpoint that you can see it right here. So let me close this so you get that out of the way. So these are different pinpoints that people have added, right? But those pinpoints all get curated on the side. So if I click, let's say on this one, for example, it jumps over to that part of the map. If I come over to here, you can see now it jumps over. And these are all interactive clicks. So you can click on this, you can see the actual picture, it blows it up. And there's also commenting on here, so students can then turn on comments and stuff.
But in this exact example, students didn't create this one because Padlet will also create one for you. So
no, they did. They did.
So as a teacher, you can go in and say, I'd like to learn about so-and-so. And the AI will pull out
Let's see if it'll work.
What you want to look at and create a set of 10 pins on a map for you with the pictures and the things done.
So yeah, let's see it. All right. So you can come over here, and this is like if you're creating it from scratch. So you come over here and you can personalize it. It literally just walks you through all the steps. And then when you're ready, then you can just share it with your students. This is the share arrow right here. And then boom.
Westward expansion. You can do it for explorers and paths. I mean, like you have to be creative because it's not something that like everyone will use all the time, but it is a really neat feature.
And it's got the worldwide map on it too. So one of the really cool ways that we've used this too is with books. So like where you, the books that you're reading, where do those books take place in? And then having different points like on the map of where those books are taking place, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's the map feature. Was there anything else in Padlet that you wanted to share? I think the timeline is pretty neat. We should share that.
Sure.
So here, let me just show you. So this would be an example of what Padlet looks like when it's in columns. So in this particular wall here, students are collaborating. So this is a collaborative space.
Like a research.
Yep, they're doing research on, this one was on Neil Armstrong. And so they are in differentiated groups. So they're coming into this area here, and this group is putting content into those columns depending on the different headers there. And what's fun about this is that then you can share out just these individual columns. You can share out the whole board. So for example, if I wanted my students to just focus on the life of Neil Armstrong, if you come over to these three dots right here, and then you go to copy breakout room link. If I copy this and I open this in a new tab, it looks like this. So now the focus is just on that one particular area. So if I scroll down, those are all of the different things that they entered in for the life of Neil Armstrong. So that's a lot of fun, but you can rearrange the way that this looks too. And so if you come over to the settings here, maybe you don't want this to be in columns. Maybe you want this to be something like, let's say,
like a timeline.
Like a time. So there's a lot on here. I'm going to try to do the timeline, but it might load a little slow. So if I change this to timeline, it's okay. If I change this to timeline, oops, there it goes. It's going to move it over, right? And so obviously this would be better if we had dates. But if you decide that, you know what, this isn't good for me, it's very simple. Just go back over to the gear and then you can change it to whatever you'd like. There's also this new one, which is the, where did it go? The stream, is that what it was? No, the table, sorry, table, sorry. And then it breaks it up. Now, obviously, we don't have enough images on here, but this is really neat because it adds the subject, which would be the, like where the kids type in. And then there's also a spot for an attachment. So the kids could go in and include images on there. And then there's, of course, reaction. So if you had comments turned on for this particular one, which I don't, the kids could then comment back and forth on those particular fields, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm thinking really cool for setting sources, too. You could do it like where you got it, the link from where it was from. put it back in the normal format, and then show them. I don't know if anyone knows this too, but if you create a Padlet, you can also create it into like a presentation. So it'll take all of the things that everyone puts in and creates almost like it's not a PowerPoint, but like creates that kind of platform, which is
You mean the
neat.
slideshows that you're talking
Yeah.
about? So if you just click on this play button right here, it's going to open it up into a slideshow. And so you can see that there's 119 slides because it took all of the pieces of information and made it into slides. So here's all about the life. You see the picture. So these are just different facts that I'm going through here.
Now, this obviously wouldn't work with this project, but like earlier in our session when my kids came in and put in their images that they had made for their vocabulary, you could put it into a presentation and go through and like quiz through the words. Like you have to think ahead of time to use some of the features that are here. But I don't know if everyone knows that they're available. Now, I don't know this board you have, because depending on the type of board you create, whether it's like a regular board or like an exit ticket board, or you'll have like different features that you can put in. But in the bottom right hand corner, there's always a plus sign. Plus sign always means add new. I want to see something. When you click the add new, go to the 13. This is all the different things you could add into the Padlet board. And what some people don't realize is there's like a poll. Like your kids could go in and create polls for one another on different things that go into the Padlet and then get announced, which could be used for like a media center. Which books did you like? It could be used for all sorts of things. But that's just one thing that I don't think people know exists within the Padlet. Let's see what else was in here.
This AI speech is kind of fun, especially if you have students that are a little bit more shy. Maybe they don't want to have.
This says it talks for you.
Right. So they can go in, they can say like, okay, here, I'm going to type out what I wanted to say.
Gotcha.
And then it does like an audio version of
Reads their response for them.
Correct. Yeah.
And then versus you can also do the opposite, where you can record your voice and have audio recordings within there, video recordings. AI image is super favorite. So you could do a shelved Padlet with different words at the top, and then the kids have to make an AI image that matches like living on the moon or gravity. Like that'd be a fun one. And then they have to come up with a prompt of like something that shows gravity, rock falling through the sky. Or so there's just a lot of different features. There's links, and what I like about it is I've never seen Spotify before. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But what I like about it is you can use it as a teacher and create almost like a flipped classroom form of a lesson where the students have everything they need in front of them. But the students can also use the platform to with those same features.
And as the educator, you have complete control here. So you don't want these things on, just turn them off. So you don't have to have all of these things turned on. Yeah, you can turn them off.
Maybe Spotify.
Yeah, it's probably don't want that on.
Radio station. I have to play with that one.
So yeah, that's Padlet. And so there's a lot of fun things that you can do with it. And like I said, it works really well and plays well with other apps. So in this particular example, actually.
How would you share it with people in case they don't know?
Okay, so if you wanted to share it, you're going to come over here to the share icon right here. And you can do it a couple different ways. You can get a QR code. You can embed it into your blog or web
right
spot.
into like a page.
Yeah, so if you're using like Canvas or any LMS, you can embed it directly into there. And that's a hot embed. So that means that kids can go in, they can still edit within the platform itself without having to go to Padlet.com. There's also, you can just share a direct link. Sometimes if you want to just hyperlink things out, you can do that too by copying the link to the board. So there's lots of ways you can share to get going. This ties in well with the next app that we're going to talk about, because we used School AI for the kids when they were building this research to use the background knowledge and to kind of find some of these facts along with some other textbooks and stuff. So they were using School AI,
which is a chatbot. So this is kind of like your house. Like you can house everything, or you can build in it. But School AI, when we talk about secret sauces and apps that do something really well, they have a lot of new updates and they do a lot of things, but we like them for their chatbot.
Yes, there's a lot of really amazing updates. But when you come in, I think yours will probably look like this rather than the new updates, because I think they give you a choice at first. So
you haven't unlocked it.
Well, I have, but I took it back. So when you come over to Spaces, you can see that there's a drop down, so you can go over to Discover, which is kind of like the library where all of the templates live. And so School AI, again, like Kristen mentioned, is basically their chatbots. And so you can go in as the educator and you can decide who you want your students to talk to, what kind of content they're interacting with. You have complete control here as the educator as well. You can align standards to these chats. And the best part about all of it is that it's easy to share. It's easy to get the kids onto. It's literally just copy the link and then you share the link and the kids are on.
No accounts, no usernames.
No student accounts, yeah. And so let me just show you some of the ones that we have. And so these are some of the sessions that we've used with our students. Now, the best part, I know I keep saying the best part, but this actually is the best part. If I go over to this particular space, and if I open this up, you can now see the conversations that are happening with the students and with the chatbots. And so if you scroll down the list here, it's going to give you a quick headline, just really quickly, so you can see if the students are engaged, if they're on task, maybe they need to be redirected. Over here, it's going to give you a little bit more of a detailed view, but at any point in time, if you wanted to, you could simply click on a name and then you could see that entire conversation. If for some reason there was someone who was maybe doing something they weren't supposed to, like let's just say that somebody said like, I hate this, right? What's going to happen is it's going to send you an alert at the top of this page where you can then go to that student and you can say, you know what, Al is off task. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause that chat and now he can no longer interact. And then I can go over to Al and I can say, hey, what's up? Maybe figure out what's going on. If maybe he misspelled the word hate or something. I don't know. He meant to say something else or it was auto-corrected. I can then resume that chat, or if it's something that's serious enough, I can very simply just remove him entirely from the conversation by clicking on this red icon right here. Or you can have them, you can also share this link right here where then that can be shared to, like, let's say families, principal, whoever you might. Now, I usually don't like to like use that as a scary thing. I like to say like, not look what they did today, but more like look what they did today and like show them how awesome it was.
Yeah, I would maybe show them how it starts because you can start with a standard. That's pretty important. That's a neat thing that when you create your chatbot, you can literally create it on whatever you want. So in one of our sessions today, we had someone like taught kindergarten and they wanted to learn about living things. They're like, I want to talk to an ant who has the perspective of living in the rainforest or something. So it doesn't have to be one that's already made.
I think we better hold off on that because I think it is going to change. And when they go in. So, but we'll share with a blog post with you later. That way, if you do want to get in and figure out how to do all that, it's all available to you. So that's School AI. Let's go over.
They're not going to start with standards. You didn't even show them how to start it.
Well, we can, but the problem is it's going to change, I think, when they go in. So,
I just think it's super confusing. Like,
well, that's what the blog post was for.
Okay.
So,
fine.
All right. If I go over to create, here you can see, now it's going to probably look different once 2.0 opens up. So if you're in 2.0, then you basically just type in what standards you want. But for here, you fill out this information and then the standards are actually right here. And if you click this, you can actually, you guys are in Texas, so if you come down to Texas, it actually has all of your standards there for you. Let's just do 5th grade. And you can toggle back and forth between whatever subject you want. And then you can align these standards directly to the chatbot. So what's going to happen is if the students are off task on those chatbots, it's going to try to redirect them and get them focused back to where that standard is supposed to be. Anything else? Good?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I was doing secret sauce, so.
Okay, so let's go back over to Brisk now. I'm actually going to take you over to this screen. So this is the Wakelet collection.
Say, this is not Brisk. This is Wakelet. He's going really fast, guys. So
well, we only have 12 minutes.
I know. Well, you don't have to get through all of them, but this is Wakelet. So it's the other version of like the other platform that looks like Padlet.
Think of this as just a website. Don't even think about it as another platform. So the way that Brisk works is Brisk lives in Chrome, which is right up here in your extensions. And so when you click on it, it looks like nothing happens, right? But actually right down below on the corner of the right side of the screen.
People are going to miss that. Yeah.
So you have to look for it. You can click this. And what this does is it takes whatever web page you're on. This could be a video. It could be a PDF. It could be a district resource. It's going to open that web page. It's going to look for ways it can help with that web page. So that's what took me the longest with Brisk.
So
because
backwards,
we're so used to there being a platform behind the scenes and
putting our stuff into it or like,
and breaking news, there's going to be a side of that eventually. But for this purpose, what it does is it just takes the content that you already have, right? And so this was number talks that the kids did where they're entering in different ways to make the number 22. This is one of my favorite ways to do this. And so now after the kids have done this collaboratively, they're going to come over to create, or you're going to come to create.
Yeah.
And then you have all these options that you can use.
TOK questions. I saw someone in the session earlier talk about translation, inquiry task, sub plan. Like, you're gonna create me a sub plan off of this lesson that my students just did.
Yeah.
Like, and even if you're not having a sub the next day, like, what if you just needed to like reteach something and you're not quite sure how to reimagine it again because they didn't get it?
You can also go over to the Boost student activities, which will then allow you to maybe make some type of bonus activity that goes along with this. You can engage. There's different ways you can do that. Our favorite is obviously using like the character chat. You could do a brainstorm to maybe think about new ways to make that number. You can assess, right? Quick exit ticket, maybe a pulse check. You want to do that in there? You certainly can as well. And then also they have a new section now where there's like a writing coach that's built inside of it. So you can use that as like a coach. But very quickly, I thought we would show them the podcasting because that's a really fun way. So let me go back here. So when you go,
and some of them don't work. Like, it's the math lesson, so some of those options aren't going to work to create a lesson as well as others. So podcast would work.
Yeah. So again, from the scratch, all you have to do is you're going to click on this Brisk icon, and then it's going to appear down here. And if I click on create, all these are available, but our favorite one right here is the podcast. So watch this. So if I click this, we want this to be in English. You can change the translation to whatever you want though. And then we're just going to say, create a podcast about this web page.
You could go further. You could say about how to make different numbers in different ways.
Sure. There's standards, right? I'm not going to worry about it now, but you can align your standards. You can adjust the length and the grade level. Let's just see what it does here as we're talking. And so it's going to take that information and that content that was on that previous web page, and it's going to create this fake podcast that has taken the information and is actually gotten a new like level up for learning. So if I come over here, you can see as I scroll through it, I'm not going to play it, but it's taken those student responses, added them into the podcast, but it even, let's see if it picked it up. I knew that there was one that was wrong. So last time I did this, it picked up the wrong one and it said like, oh, you might want to go back and we might need to go back and check our work on that one. But what's fun about this is that you can play this for the kids and have the kids listen back to it. And then it's up to them to like say like, oh, did we really think about that thoroughly? Like, is that really the most efficient way to solve and to make that
you could have added that into your prompt too. Like, by the end of the podcast, I want my students to understand the efficiency of whatever. I love this because oftentimes when you work on an online platform and you have a student absent, you're like, I don't know what, oh my gosh, how am I going to show them what we did today? And so this is cool because this could even be used for someone who missed class that day as a way to kind of understand, even though it's not what you did, it's the content and the subject that you covered.
Yeah, and so to get this to the kids, you can either download it and then you can just play it on your computer, or you can create a Boost activity, which I'm not going to go into now. But what that does is it gives you a unique URL that the students can go onto, and then they can have access to it themselves. But there's multiple ways in for you to be able to share that information out. Yeah, you can literally just play.
I mean, so if you have a kid who doesn't, want to read it, then they can listen to it. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, so that's a really fun way to get started using Brisk. Do I want to share that out now? So if you are interested, I'll share it now. We can put this up later too. So this will give you premium access to Brisk for 3 months. So if you scan that QR code, or if you want to take a picture of this page, there's also that hyperlink, which is case sensitive. So make sure that you have a capital T and a capital M for the Merrills. Then you can go and you can find that website. I think it's just a really quick, like, what is your email for your Brisk? So you have to make sure you have an account, but then it's going to upgrade you. So we can make sure we drop that into the chat at one point in time too, later on before we're finished up here. All right, next, let's talk about Snorbl.
Yeah, let's do Snorbl.
All right, Snorbl is one of the newer apps that we've been working with lately, because what it does is it kind of replaces what was lost with Microsoft Flip and Flipgrid. So the reason why I like it is that it takes the visual stress of having to have a video out, and it puts the emphasis back on the voice. And so Snorbl is basically, it can be like it's a whiteboard that is infinite. So it's an infinite canvas, and students then just record over it.
I would say it's similar to Flip, but what I would say is that Flip never evaluated your videos.
Right.
Flip never was able, like you could just go and watch all the kids' videos. But what Snorkel will do, see, like Snorkel for me combines Class Companion and Flip, because Class Companion uses AI to evaluate writing, and Flip was a great video platform. And what this does is like merges it, so it gives your students the freedom to like write, draw, talk, and it's going to use AI to coach and revise regardless of what format you use. And I don't know if there really is any other platform that does that.
Yeah. And so
That's what makes it special.
the fun thing about this too is, again, it plays well with other apps. And so thinking back to school AI, right? Maybe you've got a chatbot that you're using, and now that your students have built that background knowledge, how are we going to level that up? And so what this does is, and I can show you just a quick example. So if I wanted to try this as a student,
And as you can see, like we use these together, right? We had the chat bot where we talked to Jane Goodall, we put it in Padlet, we learned all the information, and then we take it and go.
so yeah, so you can see that there's accessibility features that are built inside of here, so the students can have the instructions read aloud to them, or they can read it.
And it's there at all times. So if you forget, or you're that kid that needs it.
So if you, I've already started a response here, but if I click this, let me respond again so you can see what that looks like. So when you come in, you've got these tools across the top here. There's drawing tools. There's, you can type.
And he's allowed this. He could have just made it typing, or he could have just, so you have the choice of giving them the freedom.
And once the students have worked out whatever they want on the bottom here, they click on this button right here to record their voice and record the screen. Now, this can be done in chunks, or it can be done just in one quick stretch. So we actually recommend doing it in chunks because students tend to think about things and then they forget.
Power pause.
Yeah, so the power pause, exactly. And so then when they're ready, when they submit it, let me go back so you guys can see what that looks like. When they submit it, what happens is, let's do one like this.
I think we had to like create a poster was like the challenge here. We told the AI what their job was to be doing.
Yeah, I'm trying to find one that maybe...
Go down to the bottom, I think. Oh, that's not bad.
Okay, so what happens is the students then see this, and what it does is it looks at what you've said in your recording, and it takes the information that you've drawn, and it will provide feedback. So it's going to coach you to what you as the educator has set forth as a standard. So if you have a standard on there, you want them to, meet that standard, it's going to coach them to try to meet that.
I was trying to see, like, we didn't have anyone, I don't think, on this one, like, purposely do it wrong or,
No.
like, but as you can see, and if they answer this for them, if a student goes in and let's say they need more coaching and they do it again and they do it again, will it show them all the different times they got their coaching, or will it just show them the last time?
Yeah, correct. So it will actually, like you can see right here, like this is the one that I started. I can then start a second one. I can do a third response, but either way, you as the educator, you're going to see every response. So if, like, let's say this one, for example, right? This one hasn't had a second attempt. If I was this particular student, I could attempt this again, and then I would be able to, yeah, I would be, oh, that's a good point there.
I was like, you did student view. That's why, because
Sorry.
it's saying, look at your classes. Yeah, because there it is. I was like, it usually...
Yeah, so you can see, let me see. There we go. So this is what it looks like once they submit it.
Sorry.
I was wondering why I couldn't see that. Yeah. And so you can see over here, this is where the coaching comes in, right? So there's also those accessibility features that are built in. And what it does is it tells the students how they can level up to get to that next score, right? And so this was considered a 3 out of 4. So if I was Amanda, which I'm not, but if I was, I could go on here. I could then try to rework maybe the information that's on here.
And it gives you a question. So it says, like, at the top, she did good with the deforestation. But then, like, Jane Goodall specific, we had like 3 questions we wanted them to kind of cover. It says, could you make your call to action more memorable and specific? What's thing you could do to help today? Like, it coaches them with a question. It doesn't just say this is wrong. It tells them, it gives them an idea of how to start to make it better.
Yeah, and the best part about all of this, in my opinion, is that it does rope in the collaboration. Let me go back to the student view here. So once I'm finished with my responses, I can come down here and I can view my other classmates' work. But the cool thing about this is that it's all anonymous. Mm-hmm. There's no names, right? And so I don't know whose video I'm watching until I probably get it and I can listen to them and hear their voice.
If there's audio, then you could maybe guess. But if it just stays like Hannah Heron, you're going to have no idea whose work is whose.
And that's important, I think, because what that does is it might bring that quiet student who's in the back of the room right up to the front. Maybe it's somebody who's a little bit more shy and reluctant to try to share their thinking, but now they can feel comfortable because they don't have to worry about being the focus of what it is that they're saying.
Yeah, and my guess is when you look at the students who like typed more probably didn't speak. And then the students who just have drawings or things probably spoke.
Yeah.
You know, so there is, because you set it up that way, there is the freedom to do both.
Yeah. 1:30, right? We done? Is that it?
Yeah, 1:30. Did you
Yeah.
get to all of them?
No.
I need to wake up.
Let's see. All right. Oh no, 1:35. We got 5 more minutes. Okay, we're good. All right. So that is Snorkel, and we actually have, oops, a premium access to Snorkel too. So if you'd like, you can scan this QR code or take a picture of
This is
this.
for you.
This goes until January.
Yeah.
This is also case sensitive, but there's no capitals there, so you're good. And so if you go to that hyperlink, or you can share that hyperlink too. It's like if there's someone who you know that is not at the conference that you think might be related to this, please, by all means, share it with them. Yeah, get it to them. This is, like I said, it's good until January, but it's going to give you all the premium features. I should have mentioned that there's free features of Snorkel and there's paid version stuff. Everything that we just showed you is part of the free though. So I should have clarified that. I apologize. The free, the paid version stuff adds things like different ways to use it. Like there's a writing coach that's in there. There's different ways for the AI to interact, so on and so forth. So definitely worth it though to check out for the premium stuff.
Yeah, check it out and see if you like it, or see if you are okay with the things that it does for free.
Yeah. One more that we'll share really quickly is Wayground. And Wayground used to be called Quizzes. And the reason why we like Wayground so much is, there's not as much student creation in this app. We're just going to be upfront and be honest. But where it lacks in that field, it really picks up when it comes to things like accommodations and differentiation. Because the things that you can do within this platform is so powerful. And Kristen does this very well, where she'll take student created content and then use it within other platforms as the assessment, right? And so if you come over to Wayground now, and by the way, if you ever had a Quizzes account, it automatically got rolled over. And so you won't need to do anything else. But there are different tools that you can look for right within the platform. There's assessments. They also have this new integration, with Voyage Math. I'm not sure if you guys in Texas use that or not, but it's available to you guys there.
Sorry, we got a lot of our Florida.
Yeah, we're in Florida, so sorry, we got that. But if I come over here to library, you can then keep, all of your library organized there. But like I said before, the true gem here is in accommodations. So on the left side, if you scroll down, you'll see the accommodations.
If you weren't familiar, Quizzes was like what it sounds like, quizzing. Like it was kind of like a Kahoot or a Gimkit. Didn't have as much gamification on that end. It was like more rote memorization or creating questions to go with things.
Yeah, so this is our demo class. And so we can see that we've got 3 students only in this class. So obviously you're going to have probably more than that, but you can go through each.
LeBron James.
He was in
really?
my first grade class. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So Taylor Swift is in this one too.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, you can go through and you can turn on some of these accommodations for just that particular student. So maybe Joe Merrill needs to have the reading mode turned on. Probably extra time for questions for sure. 5 minutes probably, right?
Extend that deadline.
Well, that's for Kristen Merrill.
Oh, that's for you.
Absolutely. But anyways, you can do that for just the one student, or select them all and decide, you know what? I know that most of my students really need help with an extended deadline. I can then give them that extended deadline. So there's lots of really fast features.
And the thing is, it all gets pushed out to all the students the same, but they all have different accommodations. They all may have different languages, and you can do it like really quick.
And they don't know. Right? That's the beauty. They don't know. So you don't need to worry about how Kristen's going to feel when she gets on hers, because she doesn't know that she's got different accommodations than I do. And so that's what makes it so perfect.
And those accommodations are tied to the person?
The person.
Not the assignment.
Correct.
So what does that mean?
Anytime that there's an assignment, they'll have those accommodations.
So you can go in and set up your class at the beginning, and you're not every assignment clicking through. Like you can tailor it to what that kid needs, and every time it goes out, those will be there. So that's really cool.
Now, we only have a minute or so I'll just quickly show this. But like if I come over here to this particular assessment that we created, it also has some pretty powerful insights built inside of it now too. So you can see that like I took this particular one, I got an 83 out of 100. I can come in here to evaluate some of that, see exactly where the information was right and where it was wrong. And without getting into too much detail, you can also create differentiated lessons right off of all of this. So you can see the accommodations right here. I didn't have accommodations set up, so maybe next time I need to add those. And I can just click on add.
AI.
Yep.
Overview. Yeah,
so
that's pretty cool.
There's a lot to dive into there. Obviously, we don't have time to get into it all now, but definitely check it out when you have time if you want to hop in there and go around it. So all of these resources are available on our blog. If you're getting started with Wayground, we got a blog post. Brisk, we got a blog post. Snorkel, we got a blog post. All of them. School AI, all of them. So Brisk is up. Brisk is up. So you can scan our QR code there. That's our blog, and you can find all the information out there. And yeah, just reach out to us. And if you have any other questions, or if you're trying to figure it all out along the way, we're happy to help you guys out.
It can be confusing.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool, and they're neat, and they're different, and might be something worth kind of just playing around with to see how it might work in your subject area.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. We hope you enjoyed this time with us. This was a lot of fun, just kind of fumbling through.
A great lunch hour.
Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed your lunch, and we can't wait to see our friends coming up here at 1:45. Thank you all so much.